A little while ago I did a video on a pickup camper shell, the shells that go on the bed of the pickup truck, and the lift struts on it were bad. So what I did is I took a piece of 3/8 fuel hose and I slid it down the side and make a little V in the end of it so you could put it onto the lift strut rod and it'd hold it up. That way you don't have to spend $60 replacing, $20 per each is a minimum typically for each of the 6 lift struts on the shell, and it's just an easy, quick thing to do. So it might be kind of cheapskate. Those things are convenient, but they're kind of expensive and they just don't last really well, especially in areas where it gets real hot. If you go to the desert much, this seems to kill them. So anyway, I have with me today another trick that I've tried out. So what we have is a classic. It's not Geo Metro, it's the same thing, but it's a Suzuki Swift. It's a 92 and it has bad lift struts. What it came with is a giant 2x4 that was riding around in the trunk. This car's tiny, it doesn't even have room for an extra Pez dispenser, it's just little. So this is what they were using, and this is hard on the plastic stuff, makes the body clips fail, and I didn't really like that, and I didn't like it just rattling, clunking around in the trunk. So what I did to correct the lift strut on a budget, because this car is all about budget, is I took a little wire. I took a solderless connector first. I put that on the wire and did a self-tapping screw and just screwed this into there, and then electrical taped a little pin on, like one of these little, I don't even know what the official name is, what it is, it's a little clip pin or whatever. So then I drew an arrow on the lift strut and I took a cut-off tool and I notched it on this side and that side. I then took pliers and I spread this out so that it would fit on there good. So that's that. Let's get a real close-up on that. So I put a little yellow paint on this. I used a yellow and green wire so that it would show up, so that if somebody didn't know what that was, they could use it safely. You see it's just kind of notched there. So what I'll do is I'll put the 2x4 back in there and show you what it looks like, because this thing won't stay up without it. I mean, these things are shot. They were just covered in oil. I'd have to order these in and they'd be about 25 bucks a piece, so $50 later I'd be good to go. This is a little trashy, but that's kind of the theme we have going with this car anyway. So here's the clip. Here's the notching. You see it's still leaking oil. No, you're like, why would you notch it? Then it's really gonna leak. Well, this thing's worthless. It has like 0 resistance, like none. So I don't know, I don't wash the trash before I throw it away, and when something's broken, there's nothing you can really do to make it more broken. Well, maybe there is, but in this case this actually helps. So say goodbye, Mr. 2x4. So pull this out, put that on, and it just holds nice and solid because it's from both sides. Originally just did it to the one side because the curve of the clip matches the curve of the bar, but then I thought, there's a chance it could go popping out to the right, under pressure. But with it on both sides being notched, it does awesome. Let me show you what I used to notch this with. Harbor Freight sells these too. I've owned a couple of those, and one of them was actually pretty good. But this is awesome. This is the way to go. It's the Hitachi G12 SE, what is that, SE2? The only thing I didn't like about this is that the switch on it would actually hold down. You have to, it won't just push. You can't step on it and cut your foot off. You have to go with that, and that's great. But then it would like lock in and it would keep going. I'm like, if I want that to be a dead man switch, so I took it apart and I took out that latching part. But you put one of these little discs on it, these little cutting discs. I like the DeWalt ones. They last as long as 5 or 6 of the Harbor Freight crappy ones. So that's what I use. You see it says high performance or high endurance or whatever. They're just awesome. I use these all the time. If the plasma cutter's not going to cut it, if the Sawzall's not going to cut it, it's just really smooth, controlled cut. So that's what I use to do the little notching on the side there.